After 4 losses in 5 weeks, has Michael Maguire already lost the dressing room?
It's a bit bollocks, but no, we got his back.
Payne Haas protective after reports his hard-nosed coach's popularity is plummeting amongst players.
I don't know, you guys are making up some stuff. I don't know, that hasn't come from any of us, so I don't know, we enjoy being here, enjoy training hard together, so we just haven't got the results. If we win, that all goes away.
How was the boat trip?
It was good. It was good.
After 9 weeks at sea, Ezra Mam will finally return from suspension against the Dragons. Injuries may have forced Brisbane's hand, but the team is backing him after a stunning cameo in reserve grade.
He's honestly been so good, to be honest. Everything everyone's asked him to do, he's done it, and he's ticked every box to get back to where he is now.
Sunday marks 288 days since Mam last played in the NRL. Having pled guilty to drug driving, the 22-year-old was booed at Magic Round. Whatever happens, Haas says Mam won't spin out.
Yeah, we can't really control what people are going to really do, to be honest, and that's probably one bit of advice there, Ezra. You know, you can't really control what people are going to do.
Buck the Bronco isn't going anywhere either, despite a Peter-led campaign to axe the mascot.
No, he's here. He's safe. He's with us.
CEO Dave Donaghy confirming Buck will be at Suncorp on Sunday. Josh Bristow, Fox Sports News.
Joining me with all the latest news in rugby league is the Daily Telegraph's Dean Bulldog Ritchie. Bulldog, I want to start with the Broncos. We just heard there from Payne Haas. He called the rumours that Michael Maguire is on the outer bollocks. But another twist in the tale today, we saw Elijah Taylor, a former Tigers player, come out and criticise Michael Maguire's coaching on Instagram. He said, Madge is too intense. Training is 95% full contact. He went into games sore and there was inefficiency with meetings upon meetings upon meetings. That was then liked by current Broncos player Marty Tapau. So what do you make of all of that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag up there at the moment, isn't it, Jake? But look, I've always been a fan or a supporter of Michael Maguire. I just happen to like his coaching methods. Look, he is old school. There's no doubt about that. And has the game moved forward from some of Madge's methods, possibly? But this is the same squad last year, Jake, that complained that Kevy Walters was too soft. So they went and gave him a nudge in terms of approaching management to get rid of him. Now Michael Maguire comes in and they're saying, well, he's too hard. So what exactly do the Brisbane Bronco player want? At the moment, they're not going very well, but it seems to be up in the air as to exactly who they want in charge. Madge is the man for me to lead the Brisbane Broncos out of this mess. He's got a hardened edge. We know that. It's quite well documented what he has achieved in the game, rather. Look, State of Origin last year obviously got him the job. He's won at the highest level. He's won at NRL. He's won in Super League. So I think it's time for the Brisbane Broncos players, if it is in fact them, Jake, if there's people behind the scenes complaining to their managers about Michael Maguire, maybe put their energy into trying to win a couple of games of football. Because I think Michael Maguire, knowing Madge as I do, will not change his way. He might pull back marginally, Jake, but Michael Maguire is tough. He's a hardened winner, and that's what he's there for. He's been brought in to put a bit of steel into the Broncos. And at the moment, though, to be fair, there's no steel in that side. They look a very soft side when the crunch comes on the field, and no doubt that would frustrate Maguire. Madge will bounce back. The Broncos will bounce back. They're a semi-final side, and I think those players up there questioning and scrutinising Michael Maguire should consider maybe putting their energies into trying to win a couple of games of football.
There is pressure on them this weekend, but isn't there, Bulldog? They come up against the Dragons side that haven't been crash hot in 2025. They're at home at Suncorp Stadium. They simply need to win this one, don't they?
Yeah, they most certainly do, Jake. Look, we just heard in the report there moments ago that Ezra Mam is back. He will give them a bit of spice, a bit of spark. We know what Ezra can do. Look, something's just not quite gelling. You look at their roster, Jake. It's a damn good roster. It's world class. It's got Test players. It's got Origin players there. But we have to remember too here, Michael Maguire's only 10 games into his tenure, just 10 games. So I think it's time maybe we just pull back marginally on Madge and gave him a bit of space to do his job. And I would say it's best to start judging coaches performance-wise around 16 to 20. That's when we've got a really true indication of how the coach is going and whether the players have taken to the new coaching methods. It's only early. I think they've won 5 out of 10, Jake, so it's not a total disaster. They're probably only a win or two away from being in the top 4, for goodness sake. But the Dragons game will be big. I spoke to Shane Flannery today. Flano is frustrated, Jake. They've lost 3 games this year by 1 point, and in 2 of those 3 losses, they scored more tries than the opposition. So the Dragons will come out breathing fire, excuse the pun. They'll come out nice and hungry. It should be a hell of a game.
Yeah, that is an exclusive game on Fox League on Sunday. I want to talk about the Bears now, Bulldog. They've made their first major move. They've announced a CEO who just happens to be a former boss at Channel 7. And we know that the Channel 7 media over in Perth hasn't been that kind to the Bears and their announcements. So who is he and what's the role going forward for him?
Yeah, Anthony de Kegley is his name. He was the boss of Kerry Stokes's 7 West Media. He's a hardened media performer, very well respected, admired throughout the media circles, has worked in Sydney. Jake, the West Australian newspaper, which is under that banner, as you rightly pointed out, ran a front page story. Bad news Bears. The day the Bears came back in, that story, of course, was incredibly inflammatory and critical of WA Premier Roger Cook's decision to not only accept the Bears into WA, but also bankroll them to the tune of $65 million. It's an AFL state, and I don't think they wanted rugby league coming into town. But like the coach, we need a high-profile coach over there, Jake, whether that's Sam Burgess, Mal Meninga, or Brad Arthur. I think we also need a high-profile CEO who knows his way around the terrain, media-wise, in WA. And Anthony de Kegley certainly does know that. So, look, a little bit left field. I must admit I didn't expect a media person to be the inaugural CEO, but the ARL Commission interviewed de Kegley recently, and they figure he knows the sporting, as I said, the sporting terrain in WA, and he'll be the man that can lead the club through those first formative years.
All right, let's go up to North Queensland now. And Cowboys coach Todd Payten is on his last warning with the NRL.
Yeah, he certainly is. He had some words to say last week after Golden Point, and I did notice in the press release so that it questioned Payton's ongoing criticism of match officials going back to 2020. So the NRL certainly got long memories. We're going back 5 years now, but look, they decided against imposing a fine. It's a good old-fashioned warning, and the NRL's way of saying, one more time, Todd, and you will be fined. The irony is, though, Jake, we don't want to be bagging referees all the time after every game, every single week. It becomes very boring. It becomes very monotonous. But Payton's point was that in Golden Point, defenders jump off the defensive line 2-3 metres offside sometimes to try to charge down those attempting to take the field goal. So as much as the NRL didn't like the criticism, it's also true. They do. We see it time and time again. We see still frames the next day running newspapers of players 2-3 metres offside. The referee does, as Payton suggested, put his whistle in his pocket. So, look, I get the NRL don't want this constant criticism of refereeing. I don't particularly like it either, but it's also important that the NRL does take some criticism on board, not just blame the coaches and say, stop it, but maybe look in their own backyard as well.
Just finally, Bulldog, a victory for common sense a little bit today. We saw in Dane's story that Buck the Bronco will be staying on at Broncos games and we won't be getting the Brisbane Boomerangs. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, you're just absurd, isn't it? Buck the Bronco is very famous. He's a big part of the match day experience up there. He's done goodness knows how many laps around Suncorp Stadium, Jake. And as for the Boomerangs, it's silly. I mean, the Boomerangs is actually a very good name, and I think it may well be a moniker used in the future somewhere down the track in whatever sport it may well be. But the Broncos is obviously arguably up there with the best known nickname in the country in sport, and certainly there's no way that the Brisbane Broncos will be changed. And there's Buck going around Suncorp Stadium. And as you said, Jake, quite rightly, on Sunday, there's no doubt Buck will have his work cut out yet again.
Yeah, I'll be there on Sunday saluting Buck as he runs past. Bulldog Ritchie, thank you so much for your time. We'll see all your stuff in the Daily Telegraph.